about the title, it's about the trust. Although I don't want to run around on a football field against a bunch of 20-year-olds. My college experience would have been so much different. My name is TJ. I'm the mayor of Morrisville, and I was just wondering if you have any ideas of anything that we could be doing better, differently. I just missed the green light, and I see some litter. I put on my hazards, I put on my gloves. 4 favorite words are, how can I help?
Thanks for joining me. And today we have with us in the studio none other than TJ Cawley, the mayor of Morrisville. Now, let me tell you, TJ had successful careers in high tech, banking, and pharmaceutical financial management before transitioning full time to community service and being a stay at home dad. TJ was elected to Morrisville Town Council, where he served from 2013 to 2017 and was elected mayor in 2017 and re-elected in 2021. And he joins us today on the Payal Nanjiani Leadership Podcast to talk about the People's Mayor. TJ, welcome to the podcast. It's not only an honor to have you here, but it's so great to reconnect again with you.
And with you, Payal. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks. Before we go deep into what you are doing, and especially I liked that word, community service. Very few people in this arena of political field would say community service. But tell us your journey. What got you interested in politics out of every other profession?
Well, I was a finance guy, really good with numbers and things, but just talking to a computer just isn't enough for me. I need to be out and among the people. I never really set out to be a politician. My journey really began when my 3rd child was born. His name is Ryan. He's just finished his first year at NC State. And my wife and I, we had a discussion. We decided that I would be a stay-at-home father. So that allowed me a lot more time to coach sports, be around the schools, and volunteer a lot more. So when he was born, we also needed a bigger yard. So we moved to Morrisville, and then I realized how decisions at the local level can directly impact families. Like we moved in to the bottom right of Morrisville, where Park West Village was just being built, and our neighbors were really upset about the pass-through traffic that was being created by this new shopping center. So I helped our neighborhood get traffic bumps to keep the pass-through traffic from going too fast or coming at all. And through that, I had to present to the Public Safety Advisory Committee of the town. So that's a resident committee that helps make decisions. And they recruited me to actually be on that committee because I saw how passionate I was about helping others. So I became vice chair of that committee. I ended up running for town council in 2011 because I went to a lot of meetings and I was speaking my mind about things. And I didn't feel like the leadership up there was really being responsive to the residents in a way. So I thought it would be important for me to actually have a vote up on the dais. So in 2013, in 2011, I ran and didn't win. It was a 3-person race. I came in 3rd, but I went to all the meetings and I learned so much about the town and I got more involved and I joined an additional committee, the environmental committee. And I just really loved helping people and helping the town. So that next time in 2013, the person who was in one of the seats decided to step down. I became really good friends with him. He endorsed my candidacy, and I ended up getting more votes than anyone had gotten in a municipal election in Morrisville to date. So that was very exciting to know that the people really connected with me because I connected with them, and they felt that I was looking to help them a lot. And then that's sort of how I got into politics. My brothers are the real politicians. They were in student council and stuff all growing up. I was more of the sports nerd, but I think it served me well insofar as I just connected with people really well. And so I've sort of backed into politics. I'm just the neighbor who happens to be a volunteer, who happens to be the mayor.
I can totally understand when you said that, you got re-elected and you got more votes and everything, because already while we were speaking, you have mentioned it so many times that you have a passion for helping people. And you've always been saying this, that you like to help people, you like to do something. And being from Morrisville myself, I can tell you, I've seen such a huge difference from when I was in Morrisville to what it is now after you have, been there. So I can totally relate to when you say helping people, building that community. And when you talk about being a people's mayor, what does that mean to you?
Well, for me, it really just means showing up. I have the time and the passion to just be there for people. whether it's a cultural festival, a ribbon cutting, clearing litter from our parks, roads, or greenways, or even just helping plant trees in our parks, I'm there. It's not about the title, it's about the trust that I've been
Mm.
able to build with people. I always try to listen first and try to inform my decision from lots of different perspectives. And then I go forward and I advocate for what I think are the best decisions. And I always lead with the community in mind. Our families are so important and they are the lifeblood of our community. And education is so important. So although we don't
Yeah.
make education decisions, I have a really good relationship with all of our Wake County School Board members. I try to make sure that the needs of our community are met. And I think people appreciate that I'm really a boots on the ground. I'm not just behind a desk. Each moment of every day, I wake up actively seeking new ideas and ways to make Morrisville just a little bit better. And people come to me with their ideas. Like just the other day, we have a little fountain in one of our water features near Town Hall Drive. And
Mm.
one of the residents was like, why can't we add some lights to that so make it more interesting and make more people go there? And last night at the meeting, they were talking about a few years down the road having a solar picnic table, which I think is a great way to meet a couple of needs. You provide shade for
Yeah.
people while they're eating and enjoying our parks. I was like, why do we have to wait a couple of years? Why don't we go ahead and try one or two of those now? And then the engineering director said, actually, yeah, we do have a spot that it's going to be in a few years, but it's available now. So we're probably going to accelerate that and get it going now. So um, it's just always looking for ideas. One thing that's interesting, I always try to leave an extra 5 minutes whenever I'm driving anywhere, because chances are I'm going to see some litter on the road and I'm going to have to pull over and pick it up because I just can't
Oh,
stand to see litter and stuff like that. So if
yeah.
I just miss the green light and I see some litter, I put on my hazards, I put on my gloves, and I go ahead
Oh.
and I pick up the litter and I get back in the car, put on some hand sanitizer, and then I don't slow anybody down. But don't be surprised if you ever see me doing that. Um,
I'm sure. I mean, when you said about ideas and you said about making a difference, so it's not you're not only thinking people in people sense only, you know what I mean? But you're thinking about them in every sense. Is the city clean for them? Is the area clean for them? Like you said, if you see a litter somewhere, you would get out, put your hand gloves, pick it up. And it's not about somebody seeing you or not seeing you. You're just doing it because you feel for the place, you feel for the entire area. And when you said about ideas, that every time you are thinking of ideas of how to make this place better, of how to make Morrisville really more uplifted, more better, what will the people like? So when you are doing this, I'm sure there are lots of ideas that come to your mind, and then you have to decide, there are a lot of decisions that you have to make. Can you share a moment when you made a decision, a very tough decision, that you had to put people over politics?
yeah, sure. It was a few years ago, but I think we all remember COVID. So just as a little background, Wake County, it's the biggest county in North Carolina, and there's
Mhm.
12 municipalities. So there's 12 mayors.
Yeah.
And each month we meet as mayors for dinner and we discuss the challenges that we're facing. We talk about budgets, projects that we're working on, and we share ideas about how to lessons learned and things like that. Like in Western Wake County, we are far advanced because we're running out of land. So we tell the people in Eastern Wake County, which are starting to experience growth, they should try to secure as much land as they can under town control so that they can decide what's going to happen with it. So that would be just one example. But moving back to COVID, in 2019, I was elected to be the president of that organization. We usually have a 1 year term for the presidents to lead that organization and organize the meetings and set the agendas and things like that. So, unbeknownst to me, we had COVID happen just after that. So I had to lead that group as we were all learning about hybrid meetings and Zoom meetings and things like that. So I was able to get us all together and coalesce and work for the safety of our entire Wake County, because Wake County commissioners and Wake County is essentially tasked with the keeping everyone healthy
Yeah,
because
I
they have the
remember.
EMS, they have all the health and human services. That's not a municipal body thing, but we are the people that have most of the residents within our town boundaries. So we set the ordinances and the rules for business closures, masking, hours, and things like that. So it really falls to the different municipalities to make the rules to keep their residents safe during a state of emergency like that was.
Mhm.
So there was lots of different ideas and different levels. And as you know, there's a lot of different opinions about what level of safety was necessary. And Wake County is unique in that all the borders of the towns, they're really intertwined. So you don't really know when you're going from one town to another. So if you had different rules in different towns, that was going to be a real problem for everyone
Yeah.
in Wake County. So I was able to help the mayors all come around one set of rules and worked really closely with Greg Ford, who's the chair of the Wake County Commissioners at that time. He was on lead from their end. And we all worked together, and I worked closely with Greg to make sure that we were all aligned so that when we had our individual states of emergency within each town, they matched up with the Wake County state of emergency. So we all had one single set of rules. And
Mm,
that was really important. And that kept a lot of people a lot safer. And we had fewer deaths because of that. We were really just trying to keep everyone safe. So there was
yeah.
a real balance between the business needs, long-term viability of our economy, and things like that. So that was really a people-centered decision.
Mm,
And I was very proud of how we as mayors all came together. And even within my own council, there was lots of differing opinions. And each of these other
mm.
mayors had councils that they had to work with as well. So it all came up, and I think it was a real success. And I was just really proud of how everyone worked together to get through that really difficult time. And we're still suffering from the economic problems.
Yeah.
There's still some carryover. Still doing budgets that are reactive to all the problems and the lack of investment that happened right after that.
Mm. No, you're right. If you are looking more people-centric, like you said, and see, and I'm just thinking about it. I have known you since the past 8, 9 years now, and I have
Mhm.
always seen that you want people to be more happier than anything else. In fact, even coming out of politics, when you are into any other profession, especially in the corporate world, a lot of people want to just get there. They want to become the CEO, they want to become the entrepreneur, they want to become the mayor or the prime minister. But the work that it takes to do that starts from where you are. Like you said, wherever you are, you're making sure that things are in favor of the people. And I'm sure you have certain habits, which you have, or some routines that really keep you focused as a people's leader. What are some of your habits or your daily routine that help you to be a people-centric leader?
I kind of think of it as mindfulness and self-care, and things that I like to do essentially that sort of re-energize me is like even just picking up litter.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny, but it sort of gives me time to sort of be alone. Or sometimes I bring the
Yeah.
dogs along with me, and sometimes I ride my one wheel along the greenway, pick up litter while I'm walking the dogs and things like that.
Mhm.
But doing that and just volunteering in general, I'm in a number of different organizations. I'm a member of the Community Emergency Response Team, which is a group of residents supported by the fire department who, whenever there's emergency, we could take care of our immediate neighbors in our neighborhood and be
Mm,
leaders in that space
right.
and help people out. I'm also part of the Morrisville Rotary. I'm an ambassador for our Morrisville Chamber of Commerce. So
Mhm.
I hand out uh, swag bags to new businesses and things like that as they enter town. But I truly enjoy just getting out and walking around our neighborhood. We have two dogs, Rocky and Ginger. They're a little bit TikTok famous because one of the videos I took of
Uh-huh.
them was reposted by my son on TikTok and got 1 million views, which is kind of cool.
Wow.
So my dogs are more famous than anyone else in Wake County right now, which
Mm,
is kind of fun. But just going ahead and walking the dogs, and sometimes I walk the dogs at our Dragonfly disc golf course. I used to play a
mm.
lot of ultimate frisbee, so disc golf is a nice way to do that. As I'm getting a little bit older, I don't want to run around on a football field against a bunch of 20-year-olds. But that's a nice little walk in the woods, and that's right on Town Hall Drive. If anyone's looking for a Dragonfly disc golf course, they can find that on UDisc, which is an iPhone app.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's kind of how I just sort of take care of myself,
Take a
have some
day,
time
yeah.
to myself. My wife and I are now empty nesters, so we
Mhm.
try to spend
Oh,
some
that's a
time at
syndrome,
home.
I think. Yeah, that gives you so much of time suddenly.
It definitely does. So we walk the dogs together, we go for bike rides, and we just enjoy spending evenings together. She's a really good cook, so that makes it nice, and I clean up the dishes and stuff afterwards. So
Wow.
we have our balance.
Yeah. And I'm sure while you are doing so much, like you said, while you are focusing on people, while you're focusing on what the place needs and everything, whatever said and done, there's going to be a lot of criticism. There's going to be a lot of pressure on you for your performance of your work. And, you're not just working like a 9 to 5 in the corporate, you are completely working with people. So I'm sure you face pressure, you face criticism. How do you manage that? How do you stay resilient during those times?
I just put myself in that other person's shoes. They have a valid concern and they want to share it with me. One thing I also like to do is just be out on our greenways and our parks.
Mhm.
Either I'm walking or riding my bike and stuff. And we have a great greenway system, so it's easy to get out to the parks. And our parks and greenways are always really active with lots of
Yeah.
people. So I just try to
Mm.
make a point whenever possible, when people seem amenable to it, I go up to them and say, "Hi, my name is TJ. I'm the mayor of Morrisville. And I was just wondering, do you have any ideas of anything that we could be doing better, differently, something we're not doing that we should be doing? Like, how can I help you and your family thrive and have more fulfilling lives here in Morrisville?" And I get some really great feedback that way. Some people are a little bit afraid of hearing things that are negative, but I see negative as any kind of opportunity to fill a
Yeah.
gap. There's
Yeah.
someone there who feels like there's something we could be doing that we're not doing. And I always try to connect them with the staff who can actually address the issue.
Mm.
Because our staff and our council exists to serve the people.
Yeah, I have
That's
experienced
our
that.
only
Yes.
purpose.
Yes,
So when
absolutely.
people say, "Oh, this person's complaining about this and that," I'm like, "Yeah, well, it's a valid point. So maybe we have rules in place and we need to explain to them that they think that they can come to us as elected officials and fix things and make things
Mm.
better because the staff is not being reasonable." But then I explain to them the staff is only implementing the rules and the guidelines that we have approved. So we have to have our staffs back. And then if there's an opportunity to change things, or if they have a point that like maybe we should be able to use our fields more often, that
Mm.
they aren't going to get really that worn out, we can talk to staff because staff does the operations. But there is a
Yeah.
balance, and our residents look to us to make sure that we are their advocates.
Yeah.
And so that's a place I enjoy being. I like being in the middle there and then just trying to figure out a way to make sure that everyone understands because it's all about the communications. People just want to know that they're being heard and that their ideas are being taken seriously. And I
Absolutely.
think I'm able to do that because I spent 2 years doing that between 2011 and 2013, sharing my ideas
Mm.
and knowing how frustrating it is when they don't seem to be leading to any action. So that's why I
Yeah.
joined the second committee. That's why I'm on the council and I'm now the mayor because I feel like I can really help implement the things and the ideas that our residents really want to see. Solar and embracing clean energy is something that I've been hearing for years, and I've been a tree hugger since I lived out in Portland many years
Mm.
ago.
Mm.
And I think that it's really important that we really lean in on that. And we now have a sustainability coordinator. She's here today at this conference with me. We're sitting together. We're
Wow.
bouncing ideas off each other about how we can make the town better.
Mm.
And we also have a sustainability intern coming in this new budget so we can grow our sustainability efforts because right now they've been inwardly focused to the town. We got solar panels on most of our buildings. We're doing LED lights. We're doing lots of building efficiencies. But now, in order to really leverage that, we want to base outwards and help our residents and our businesses be more sustainable, use
Yeah.
compostable things, get rid of single-use plastics. So that's the next step for us. And I'm very excited about where the next 4 years are going to take us.
Absolutely. Like you said that, you go out, you reach out to people, you talk to them, what issues they have, what ideas they have. But I think one point that you have missed here, which you might have not realized, is that you are very approachable as a leader. And it's not just about you going. I have seen how approachable you are. In 2017, when my first book got released, it was very easy to connect with you, to approach you, and to talk to you. And I think that's one of the biggest strengths any leader can have. And I must say, TJ, you definitely have that.
Well, thank you very much. I think
So,
that might have come from two different experiences in my life. The first one, after I graduated from the University of Virginia with a Bachelor of Science in Commerce, Marketing and Finance was my specialty. I was on a track to go like to Bear Stearns or to Wall Street or something like that. And I didn't think that was the right future for me personally. So what I did was I didn't even look for a job as I graduated. I got a backpack, I got some hiking boots, I got a sleeping bag, and I went to Europe. and I bought a Eurail
Nice.
pass, which is that
Hmm.
time was you buy a train pass, and for 6 months you can travel anywhere around Europe, and it's
Hmm.
essentially for free. So I went to youth hostels, and I
Wow.
met lots of people because I was alone. So you go to a new place, a new city, and you meet people because you
Yeah.
don't want to be alone the whole time. So I made a
Right.
lot of new friends. I did a lot of different things. And so one piece of advice I'd give to families is to try to have your high school graduate do that before college. My
Hmm.
college experience would have been so much different if I had the confidence to go up to people and just talk to anybody and be talked to by anybody because everyone's in the same space. Everyone wants to make new friends. They want to make acquaintances. They want to make connections that matter. So I definitely give that advice. But then about 15 years later, I actually traveled around the world with the same thing, with a backpack. Spent a
Hmm.
year doing that, meeting people in youth hostels and things like that. So through those two experiences and my life before and after that, I think I just really enjoy getting to know people and saying hi and finding out what makes them tick and what's important to them. And I think people can sense that.
Yeah.
And people know if you're just doing a light touch and moving on and they're not listening. So it was
Absolutely.
really a pleasure to meet you when I first met you. And I think it makes it easy
Yeah.
to be connected when you're open to connections.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest qualities of a leader because I see so many leaders, they shy behind their desk. They don't want to approach the people in times of issues, like you said, in the COVID and all. You were out there, you were serving, you were out there, you were thinking. So I think that's a great, great quality to have in anyone as a leader. So tell me something. What are some of, with everything that you've learned, what are some of the leadership mistakes which has shaped you the most and you realized in future that, okay, this is something you've learned from?
When I first got on the council, I thought, okay, I just got elected. I have all these great ideas. And it's kind of like the new elected syndrome. I think this happens to everyone. They think that they can just come in and change everything and
Change
make it better.
everything. Yeah.
Because I've been on the outside and now I see how you guys should all do things better. And there's people who have been there for a while and they're like, no, that's not how it works. It takes a lot longer. We actually tried that in the past. It didn't work. So I came in really thinking that I was right about a lot of things. And I would prepare these long, rambling soliloquies essentially, and I'd start reading them at council meetings, and everyone would just sort of shut down and kind of stop listening. So I realized that I needed to meet people where they were and find the common ground first,
Mm.
and then work from there after having built their trust to share what my values are and why I think that we should be investing in more police and firefighter staff. Because when we understaff them, they work too hard and they burn out, and then we lose them, and then we have to spend a lot of money recruiting new ones, and then it's a vicious cycle. So essentially, I learned early on, and it took me a little while, honestly, to
Mm.
really realize that I needed to shorten my messages and try to work with people and not shame them
Yeah.
doing what I thought was the right thing. Because then
Wow.
people just dig in their heels and they stop listening, and then it's harder to even work things forward that you both fully agree on. So that was a leadership mistake, and I think I'm much about that. And the second thing was I tried to micromanage the staff a little bit too much, and I think I'm much better about that. A good example was during this last budget session.
Mm.
Um, there was some council members who felt that we should change a lot of things within the parks fees,
Mm.
but we gave broad direction, which is our mandate is to give broad direction and let the staff do the operations. So I was like, actually, we're kind of getting in the weeds there. Let's go ahead and settle back. Some people still wanted to do it. So I was like, okay, if that's the will of the council, we're
Mm.
just moving forward with that. So you don't always get what you want or what you think is
Yeah.
best, but for the group and the good of the group, you go along because that's how it's set up. There's seven of us. We're all equal. I just happen to be the speaker for the town, but we all have the same power.
Mm.
And that's just important to keep in mind that people were elected for different reasons because of their different perspectives. So you have to embrace that and see the value in each person and what they bring to the town.
Wow, that's lovely. So, TJ, if someone wants to, people who are listening today, if someone wanted to become a mayor or a community leader like you are, what's your best piece of advice to them?
So this is something I tell to the kindergartners, to the people at the senior center, and that is that my four favorite words are, how can I help? And in the kindergarten and elementary schools, I have them repeat that back to me so that they practice saying it. And I say, okay, if you say that to your teacher, to your friends, and your assistant teacher, and your parents, if you say that a number of times every day, and you sincerely want to help, you can go as far as you want. I ask them, do you want to be a mayor? Do you want to be the governor? One day, do you want to be the president of the United States? About half the people put up their hands, which is very exciting. I was like, well, then you have to remember my four favorite words. How can I help?
Wow.
So that would be my advice, is just help others. And not only does it help them, it helps you feel good. And
Absolutely.
that's
I think
how
that's
I
the
feel best,
best
is when
piece
I'm
of
helping
advice
others.
I've heard.
Okay.
That's such a great piece of advice I've heard today, and I'm going to remember those four words. How can I help? I think if each of
Excellent.
us
Thank you
has
so
asked
much.
that, life becomes so easier.
It does.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Thank you so much, TJ, for taking the time and being on this podcast and taking the time from your schedule and sharing your expertise and your insights.
It's always great to spend time with you, Payal. Have a great day.
You too. And this one's for our listeners. This is TJ Cawley and Payal Nanjiani wishing you loads of success in your career life. God bless.